From the early days when he put the stock car world on notice.
If you got in his way, he wouldn't run over.
To his first championship.
Who is this guy?
From rattling the cage.
You rattle his cage all right.
Crushes him. To showing Junior who's boss.
Welcome to the real world.
You don't mess with the old man.
From the pass in the grass.
Hell no, I did the best I could, man.
And it was amazing.
That was a hell of a finish.
To finally conquering the great American race.
We won it.
I could watch that race right now.
But only one can be number one.
He did amazing things all the time.
This is more than just a race to the finish line. It's a journey through time.
It ain't over until it's over.
That's the way it goes.
Buckle up and hang on for the 10 greatest Earnhardt moments. Number 10.
Here goes the pass. Gordon making a move on the inside of Earnhardt. Oh, Jerry down the back straightaway.
It was my first race as his crew chief.
Here he comes. Climbing out again.
The guys started going back to the garage area.
Walked away from another one on the super speedways.
I got an ambulance, and I looked back at the car, and I said, man, the wheels are still on that thing.
It ain't over until it's over.
I got out of the ambulance. I said, get out. Give me the car back.
Get the hell out of my race car.
To hell with the infield chaos center. I'm gonna finish.
Only somebody like Dale Sr. would have looked back at the car and say, I may be able to get that thing back to the pit.
And I see something go by me down pit road.
And I remember the crowd going absolutely crazy.
Everybody that's a fan of Dale Earnhardt knew that he was amazing. The car was pretty well beat up.
What a pile of grit. Earnhardt is in the car. He's barking instructions to the crew.
The last we saw, our car was sitting there destroyed, and Dale Earnhardt was walking up in the back of the ambulance.
To me, I sat there in total amazement. That's why people loved him, because he did amazing things all the time.
They're going to now try to get the back deck on the car. There's nothing mechanical holding it on. They're going to have to tape it on. This thing is so beat up.
Luckily, no one else hit the car. We just sort of bounced around up on our lid a little bit and scuffed around till the back end up, whatever.
He gets back in this race car, and they repair it enough to get him back out on the racetrack to be able to finish the race.
We're running for a championship.
If Earnhardt can make one lap or two, it's an absolute miracle.
When he got out of that ambulance and goes over and gets back in that race car,
That just went to show the intestinal fortitude, the never say die, never give up attitude that one man alone had perhaps more of than any other guy that maybe ever put on a helmet.
That's the way it goes.
I think it gave him Superman status that day.
Number 9.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Dale Earnhardt Sr. raced against each other for the first time.
Dale Sr. and Dale Jr. went to Japan.
Earnhardt Jr. and his dad right behind him following in the tire track.
It wasn't a points race. It didn't count for anything.
So, they could have a little bit of fun.
This is when Dale Jr. was just coming into his own.
Just excited. I mean, we practiced a little bit together, and, just overwhelming kind of just being on the racetrack with him and competition.
He was listening to headphones. He was in that new Nirvana, I'm cool MTV stage.
They drove 2 Coca-Cola cars, one red, one black.
Junior had a faster car at the end of the race, and he's just going to pass the man in black.
Earnhardt versus Earnhardt.
And he kind of cut across the nose of Dale Sr.
Dale Jr. kind of nudged him, and he got into his dad.
I'm behind him watching this go on. I'm like, ooh, the old man's not going to like this.
And his dad got him jacked up and carried him down the straightaway.
See the rear bumper there flapping in the breeze.
Realized that probably wasn't a real wise move after the fact.
I don't think he was too happy about it. I think when we get home, Tony really had my back.
Father every now and then has to teach son a lesson.
Welcome to the real world, because that's how the old man ranks.
I'm not done yet. You've got a lot to learn.
Junior, to this day, he'll tell you that was when he
learned exactly what the Intimidator was all about.
You don't mess with the old man.
Number 8.
Dale Earnhardt is going to win. Dale Earnhardt wins. Dale wins another. This has never been done before in the contemporary history of Winston Cup racing.
You win a race, that makes your year. That makes your season.
You're feeling like you're on cloud 9.
And in some cases, winning a race in a season makes a guy's career.
But when you go to put 2, 3, and 4 of them right in a row, you guys got it going on.
Well, Dale Sr. is just that's a whole topic in itself.
1987, setting these records, everybody loved Dale Earnhardt Sr.
He has only lost 2 races this year.
He started that phenomenon of winning consecutive races.
I know how hard it is. That's why it's a record. That's why people don't usually break those kind of records. You might tie those kind of records, but they're hard to break.
And look at the jubilation in the Wrangler pit.
It takes a lot of skill, but also takes a great team.
and it takes a lot of luck.
When you had that attitude that Dale Earnhardt had, he was better than everybody else. He wanted it more than anybody else. Told me that with his own mouth. I want it more than you.
Number 7.
Down off turn 4. And Earnhardt loses it, goes on the grass, comes back, and Elliott goes inside.
The pass in the grass.
I mean, it was amazing. The pass in the grass that was not a pass. He was dead sideways, and he was out in the grass.
About 99% of the drivers would have spun out like that.
The funny thing about the pass in the grass was it actually wasn't even a pass.
Wasn't a pass.
Folks, it wasn't a pass.
Earnhardt got ran in the grass.
Earnhardt never actually passes Bill Elliott.
But it was one hell of a save in the grass, I can tell you that.
Elliott came down on Earnhardt.
Dale Earnhardt will be the first to tell you. The son of a gun drove me down in the grass.
Bill spun that 95 car out, caused a big mess, and then he come up there and tried to spin me out twice. I didn't take it.
Grass is like ice, and the car slide out of control.
He slides through the grass and is able to come back across.
Let's see you drive a 3,400-pound car at 175 miles an hour through the grass.
Through the infield grass, keeps his car straight.
It was an incredible display of driving.
Pure driving ability.
One of the most amazing moves I've ever seen.
Here, let's make a list. How many people can... I didn't think so. Nobody can do that. Dale Earnhardt did it.
He decided he's going to win that race. Like this magic that Earnhardt actually accelerated.
Earnhardt holds the lead. He holds his line. He goes agricultural racing through the grass, hangs on to the lead, comes out on the other side, back on the asphalt. He's still running in first.
He somehow saved it, and he never lost the lead and went on to win the race.
And it is Earnhardt.
That was the day that he just took the rules into his own hands.
I'll be darned if Bill didn't try to knock me out twice. He had me sideways going off for 4-2 over there, then turned me through the trioval. And I slipped him up high just to let him know I was mad. And, you know, I didn't try to wreck him, didn't run him in the wall or nothing. Then he tried to wreck me after the caution there. I think he's a little upset.
No pass, but one heck of a maneuver.
But you know what? The pass in the grass is such a cool name. I think people let that one slide.
Call it what you want to. I'll call it the pass in the grass if you want to. But one heck of a move by Dale Earnhardt.
It was those kind of moments that just added to the legend of Dale Earnhardt.
Coming up next, number 3 goes cage rattling.
Oh, man, he didn't do that.
I meant to rattle his cage, though. Rattle his cage. You rattle his cage, all right.
They just showered him with booze.
They're going to burn this place down.
When they just missed the 10 greatest Dale Earnhardt moments.
Earnhardt's car destroyed.
Man of Steel never got hurt. You could tell that he had been banged up pretty good.
Derek Cope drives off to victory. Earnhardt's got a flat tire. One of the most unbelievable things that I think's happened in the sport.
Laverne flew right into the left corner of his Chevrolet.
It just goes to show that anything can and will happen on the racetrack. I'm sure it ruined that Seagulls day.
Number 6.
And Labonte inside of Earnhardt. He taps him going into the third corner. He gets way down on the apron of the track. Coming to the white flag. There's a leader change and Labonte takes the lead.
Whenever you had that black 3 car behind you, you knew that you were subject to get hit.
And meanwhile, Ricky Rudd trying to... Oh, and Earnhardt spins him out.
Oh, man, he didn't do that.
Terry Labonte probably started cringing.
But it was back then when the gloves certainly were off.
He did not mind using that rear bumper.
Fans were going nuts.
Even though it was still Earnhardt, I was...
He'd get into somebody, he'd get in that left rear quarter panel just enough. Sends him flying.
Crushes him out of turn 3, and then Earnhardt goes on and wins the race.
And guess what he says in victory lane? I was going to get back to him and just rattle him. I wasn't going to wreck him, but I got to him and he turned him around. So didn't mean to really turn around, meant to rattle his cage over.
I just wanted to rattle his cage.
Rattle his cage. You rattle his cage, all right. Broke the cage.
Getting out of the car with that little Earnhardt smirk on his face and swearing to God that he didn't mean to wreck him.
It's a heck of a way to win. I'd like to beat Terry and race him back, you know, side by side. You can't hit somebody that hard, Dale, and think you're just going to get his attention.
Earnhardt actually got booed on that night.
They just showered him with booze.
And he never got booed.
What? Are you kidding me?
they're gonna burn this place down. Deafening to hear the folks booing. There was 160,000 in the stands. 140,000 of them were booing.
At the time, Dale was the black hat, man. He was the villain, and Terry was the nice, calm Iceman.
Turning Terry Labonte around coming off turn 4 that day is how people remember Earnhardt.
I don't think those two drivers ever got over that one, and the fans will never forget that.
I was going to just try to shake him and get under him. I wasn't going to try to wreck him.
If you're an Earnhardt fan, it was the bump and run. If you're a Terry Labonte fan, he punted it.
Number 5.
And how about this kid?
He can coast time now, Mike.
First time Winston Cup winner.
It's just kind of stunning how good Junior was from the time they dropped the green flag to the end of the race.
Junior won that race going away. I mean, he embarrassed everybody that day.
There's as much pride in that 3 car as Dale Earnhardt Sr. goes around this racetrack for what this kid has done right now.
I'm out of breath, man. I'll tell you what. That was the hardest race I ever drove.
To win a race and to win at Texas Motor Speedway, which is a tough place and a fast racetrack.
What made that moment special was not him crossing the start-finish line, was the biggie, number 3.
Well, there's Dad, who parked his car just outside victory.
I don't think I've ever watched Dale Sr. be so proud of me.
You're seeing your son win a race.
I mean, to come running into victory lane like he did.
Almost pulling Dale Jr. out of the car.
Really saw that father-son, that real proud look that I remember from Dale Earnhardt in victory lane that day.
That smile, you could have handed the old man $10 million and it wouldn't have made him any more happy than watching his son win that race.
He's talking about coming to Texas and winning his first Cup race. He won his first Busch race here. We knew the kid could do it. Tony Ure and all the guys worked really hard.
He truly had built DEI for Dale Jr. and what he had just accomplished, getting him to victory lane.
That told me something that day, that he was special and that he knew how to get to victory. He knew how to win races at every level now.
Really said, hey, this kid has made it. He's doing it and doing it the right way, and I couldn't be prouder of my son.
Even though Dale Earnhardt had a lot of proud moments about his career and his children's career, that definitely had to rank right up there with one of the top ones.
That was a victory it was a statement that the sport had to say, wow, these guys are for real.
Number 4.
Here's this no-name guy, no sponsor, on a blue and yellow number 2 Monte Carlo.
First thing you know, Dale is not just another race car driver. He's a contender.
He is driving the absolute wheels off that car, and he is chasing down DW.
All of a sudden, he's somebody you got to deal with.
Lo and behold, Dale Earnhardt gets on this roll, and we start doing really well, and we end up winning at Bristol. And that was the first race that we actually won as a team.
No one could ever imagine this was going to be the kickoff to one of the greatest careers ever in NASCAR.
The first win of anything, just trying to capture the moment.
It was a great black and white photo of Dale. You could really see his smile through that mustache.
This guy with kind of long hair and a big bushy mustache and is in there just celebrating, like he had won the Daytona 500.
Bristol was his first win, but boy, after that he won and won and won.
Coming up next, the Intimidator's greatest comeback and first championship.
None of us had any idea just how good he was.
Probably one of the most amazing runs to a checkered ever.
Come on.
Was insane.
When the 10 greatest Earnhardt moments returns. The 10 greatest Dale Earnhardt moments. This is number 3.
Dale Earnhardt's win at Talladega in 2000 is probably one of the most amazing,
most incredible runs I've ever witnessed.
This race for Dale Earnhardt at Talladega was insane.
Dale Earnhardt was deep in the field.
Earnhardt, if you're going to pass him on the inside, it's going to be on the grass, man. He's down on the very bottom of the racetrack.
He was running 18th.
With roughly 10 laps to go, you're thinking there's no way.
We didn't think there was any way possible.
Earnhardt tried to come up through the middle.
I don't know if there's too many people who thought Dale Earnhardt could come back.
But we all knew that Dale Earnhardt was synonymous with Talladega.
When he needed to dig deep, he had it. Everybody believed he had this magical power of actually seeing error.
Get your breath, folks. Less than 3 laps to go.
Every single move that he made coming up through the pack worked for him.
He could do things with a race car.
Especially at Daytona and Talladega. He used the drive like I don't think anybody else knows how to.
The Intimidator is straight and beat on the right side, but he will not be denied. He's motioning the 55 car of Kenny Wallace to give me a bump. Come on, Kenny, give me a jump.
I passed him once. He passed me back. And I seen that big old paw come up, and he's like this, come on, come on.
You know, Kenny decides, I'm going to hook up with this guy.
We know this black car knows how to get to the front.
And all of a sudden, I just started hitting Dale.
Kenny Wallace says today the high point in my career was finishing second to Earnhardt at Talladega.
He comes down in front of me, and I'm thinking, my God, I have no choice but now to help this guy win.
Dale Earnhardt Sr. has come from 17th spot in 4 laps and will take his 10th career victory at Talladega and $1 million bonus.
Where did he come from in 4 laps?
That was a hell of a finish.
It was breathtaking to watch.
Such a fun race to watch. I could watch that race right now.
It's just part of the Earnhardt legacy.
Ball, and there that big fist out the window. Earnhardt pulls up and says, thank you, Kenny Wallace.
Kenny Wallace really worked hard with us, and he done a good job. I don't think we could have got back up there if it wasn't for Kenny.
Pretty hard for me to believe that that was Dale's last win, and I'm happy to be part of it.
I can't think of any better way for him to close out the win column than the way he did that day at Talladega.
Hey, me and Nemchek won Earnhardt that race. I think he owes us half of that no bull money.
Number 2.
Everybody knew who Earnhardt was.
He was this rough and tough guy, and all he did was just win every race.
In '79, we ran for Rookie of the Year.
But was that team a championship team?
It was just the pyramid from there.
He never knew when to quit.
Earnhardt shuts Richard off in the 3rd turn.
We took that momentum from '79, and we just carried it right on into 1980.
I know that Dale Earnhardt thought the dreams had come true when he got an opportunity to possibly win a championship.
It all played out that year where it came down to a cat and mouse game with Benny Parsons.
They were able to hold off and win the championship.
We were the 1980 champions.
A lot of things kind of happened for him to go out and win that championship in 1980. It meant a lot to him, but it was really more about his father, who had won one of the earlier championships in one of the lesser divisions when he first started racing.
I think folks had no idea, none of us had any idea just how good he was and how good he was going to be.
You're fixing to see a lot more victories and a lot more championships on their way.
Coming up next, the greatest Dale Earnhardt moment of them all.
He won everything.
It was so overdue.
He had never won the big one.
Every member
from every team.
He never slowed down. That's never happened before. Probably never happen again.
When the incredible Dale Earnhardt moment so far.
It ain't over until it's over. I said, get out. Give me the car back. Junior to this day, he'll tell you, he learned exactly what the Intimidator was all about.
4 of them right in a row.
He started that phenomenon of winning consecutive races.
One of the most amazing moves I've ever seen.
He somehow saved it, and he never lost the lead.
Oh, man, he didn't do that.
fans were going nuts.
You could have handed the old man $10 million and wasn't any more happy than watching his son win that race.
The first win of anything, just trying to capture the moment.
With roughly 10 laps to go, you're thinking there's no way.
It was breathtaking to watch.
Such a fun race to watch. Folks had no idea just how good he was.
A lot more victories and a lot more championships on their way.
But now it's time for the greatest Earnhardt moment of them all. This is number one.
Remakes in the 500 Chevy Pontiac Ford. That's how they run. But Earnhardt has a benefit. There's a slow car up ahead.
I can't think of a driver to whom second place meant less.
Every time someone would say, Dale, when are you going to win the 500?
This was a heartfelt moment because everybody knew how much this meant to Dale Earnhardt.
2 laps to go.
Here was a guy who was only lived to win.
Dale Earnhardt Sr. had won everything.
He had worked so hard and had won so many races, so many different places.
But the biggest race of the year,
he had never won the big one.
He had tried so long to win that race, and he had come so close.
He won everything at Daytona. He was so sick of the questions.
Earnhardt lost that race every way that you could possibly lose that race.
I mean, he'd hit seagulls, had flat tires, you name it, he'd done it. This was the last race left on his resume.
There was almost a sense in his pits coming down to the end as, okay, what's going to happen this time?
And there's trouble coming off of turn 2. Some cars get straight away. It might be this.
If we took the white flag, that we were okay.
20 years
years of trying, 20 years of frustration. Dale Earnhardt will come to the caution flag to win the Daytona 500.
He never slowed down that next lap because he wanted to make sure he got back to that checkered flag just to make sure there were no glitches.
If he comes around under caution to complete this final lap, the taste of long-awaited victory will be his.
He finally won the Daytona 500.
He finally did win it. It was obviously a big day.
Most anticipated moment in the history of NASCAR racing.
Crew members, quite frankly, crying as he came up pit road.
It was so overdue.
It didn't matter whether you're a fan of Dale Earnhardt.
If you weren't a fan of Dale Sr., you were that day.
It was that aha moment.
Yeah, I think the coolest part about that whole race was, see all the crew guys lined up on pit road after the race.
Every man on every group.
Everybody came out.
Every single mechanic, every member
from every team stopped and high-fived that guy when he came by.
I don't think anybody minded being one of the 42 losers.
It was as if 43 cars had won that race.
Everybody respected this guy so much, and they knew how much this race meant to him.
That's never happened before, probably never happen again.
That sticks in people's mind as much as the fact that he actually won it.
That was pretty big when your comrades say, hey, good job.
It was a pretty big event for not just him, but for everybody involved in the sport.
This is for all them race fans and all them people have been saying, Dale, this is your year. Dale, this is your year. And boy, a lot of them said it this year. All the way from Mr. France, all the way down to Todd Parrott and all the guys on the team. The Daytona 500 is ours. We've won it, we've won it, we've won it.
Long-awaited victory.
And the checkered flag drops. Dale wins another.
We've won it, we've won it, we've won.
This kid, he worked hard. Oh, Earnhardt takes him out. Earnhardt loses it, goes on the grass, comes back, and Elliott.
And there, that big fist out the window. Earnhardt pulls up and says, thank you, Kenny Wallace.